Good day, folks. It's Clayton here with HayBoss Feeders, and today we're going to show you how to make a barrel feeder out of a HayBoss do-it-yourself barrel kit. So when you order it, it'll look like this, come in a box like this. It's 6 pounds and comes with everything you need except the barrel to make the feeder. So I opened up my box and I put everything I got on the table. I got my template, I got my chain binder and chain, I got some net, the frame, hooks, and I go through my instructions that came with it. And right at the top of the instructions, it tells me all the tools I need. So I got my jigsaw, circular saw, drill with a 1/4-inch bit, and a 9/16 bit for drilling holes in the bottom for the drain holes. Knife, measuring tape, square, marker, masking tape, scissors, and most importantly, a large plastic barrel. You'll also need 7/16 wrench and a socket or a ratchet. I just put mine on a impact driver. Okay, so first step it says is we're going to lay the barrel on its side and cut the top off of it. Okay, so that's simple enough. We're just going to take our saw, really any saw you got. Usually your guard on your saw has one side that's about 1 inch to 1.5 inches away from your blade. So I'm just going to use that. I'm going to run my guard along the top of the barrel like that, and I'll cut all the way around. All right, so here goes. Okay, so we got that done. We could take our knife and clean off the shavings if we want. And this is also where you would look inside your barrel and see if you need to clean it up. Okay, we'll go to step number 2. Step number 2 is putting your template on the barrel and taping it to the barrel, tracing it, and cutting out the opening for the barrel. But first thing on this template, if you look at it, step number 1 on the template says cut off this template along the dotted line to use the marking holes in the top of the barrel. So where you see this little scissor mark, we're just going to cut down that, and we're going to use that template later on. Okay, so we got this template and we're going to use it for later. Place barrel on the table. Tape the paper to the template provided to the barrel. Make sure the bottom of the barrel of the template rests on the table, and line up the center line of the template to a vertical seam in the barrel if possible. And then we're going to trace all the slots using a marker, and then we're going to pull off the template. So when they say a seam in the barrel, I don't know if you could see in the video, but it seems like each barrel, when it comes out of the mold, has a seam going all the way vertical. And if you turn the barrel 180 degrees, you could see another seam that goes all the way down. So we'll use that seam to make sure we're running straight. So I'm going to place the barrel on the table, and I'm going to grab some tape. And I'm going to grab my template. I'm going to look for that seam. And I'm going to tape it on that seam. Then I'm going to pull the sides around. Making sure my bottom is hitting the table. My bottom of my template is hitting the table. Okay, so that should hold it. Now I'm just going to grab, I got a silver Sharpie here because I got a black barrel, and for video purposes, it'll see it better. So I'm just gonna go and trace around. Okay, then we'll take our template off. And that's really all you needed the template for. Now we got that marked out. We got the hole marked out where we want to cut it. So now it says step 3 is drill a 9/16 hole on the inside of the arch to start the jigsaw. With the jigsaw, cut around the trace lines all the way around the arch. Okay, so that's what we'll do. We'll drill a hole to start our jigsaw. And now with our jigsaw, we're going to cut all the way around that dotted line. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like. Okay, so now you can take your knife and you can clean up these edges too if you want. Okay, so step 4 is from the top down, from the top of the barrel at the center seam, measure 3/4 of an inch down, mark and drill a 1/4 inch hole. Use the template you cut out earlier along the dotted line and put a bolt through the biggest hole on the template and the hole in the barrel. You can install a nut hand tight so the bolt does not fall out. Use this template to mark a hole on the left side of the barrel, turn 180 degrees, and mark a hole on the right side of the barrel. Make sure the template is flush to the top of the barrel when marking holes, and then you can drill these 2 1/4 inch holes. So we're going to go in our bag of hardware. We're going to grab a bolt, a 1/4 inch bolt and a 1/4 inch nut. And we're going to measure down. Where's my silver Sharpie? From the seam, from the top of the barrel on the seam, we're going to measure 3/4 of an inch going right down that seam. We're going to drill that hole. Then we're going to put a bolt through the template, like that, through the biggest hole on the template. We're going to stick it in there. Put a nut on the backside so it doesn't fall out. And then this will mark where we want to drill our other hole. So you'll see a small hole in this template. You mark that one. Bring it 180 degrees over. Make sure you're at the top of the barrel, flush with the top of the barrel, and you mark that one. Okay, now we can take this template out. And we can drill these 2 holes. Step 5 is 180 degrees away from the center hole, and step 4 is where you'll measure for the fence hooks. So these are, next step is we're going to be installing these. Okay, so some barrels have a seam on this side as well, which makes it easier to measure. And you'll have to measure 4 inches down and 5 inches to the left and the right of the seam. So let's do that. And you double check by looking, make sure it looks like it's going to be pretty even. If I go 4 inches down, I'll make a mark over here about 4 inches down, 4 inches down, and then 5 inches to the left and 5 inches to the right. Mark those holes and drill them. Take 2 bolts, 2 nuts, and 2 washers. Whenever I'm putting bolts on through plastic, I want to make sure that I have a washer on the plastic side. Okay, so I'm going to put my bolt through there. Okay, so we'll snug those up now, just snug them, so that when we move them, they'll stay in place, okay? We got our hooks snugged up, and now we just got to make sure they're running nice and straight down. So we'll use our square, and we will just straighten them. Okay, and then we will drill our holes through. For the second bolt, we'll just go straight through here and straight through here. And put 2 more bolts, nuts and washers on the plastic side. And with your 7/16 wrench and socket, tighten them up. And you can now tighten the top ones up too. Okay, so that's what's going to hook on the fence. Okay, so we are at step 6. Flip the barrel upside down. It says measure along the seam from the back edge of the barrel. Okay, so back edge of the barrel, we're going to find that seam. And this one's a little harder to see, but I'm going to make a mark there along the center of the barrel, 8.5 inches. I'm also going to make a mark straight across to my middle seam. Okay, so we're going to take our square that we have here, and we're going to square from the 8.5 inch mark, drill a hole at 9 and 3 o'clock. So we're gonna make a mark at 9 and 3 o'clock, and we're gonna drill a 9/16 hole through the barrel to the inside of the barrel, as close to the edges as we can. And then it says at this time, drill at least 8 more holes in the bottom, evenly spaced, for drain holes in case water gets in there, so water can drain out. Step 7 is set the barrel on its back and place the net frame into the barrel. But first, I could set it on its back, but I notice when you get your net frame in your package, your net isn't weaved onto it. So I'm going to have to show you how to weave your net on to the frame. You got your net that came in your package, and you got your net frame. Well, if you open your net up and you look, it'll have 4 sides. And on this one, 3 out of the 4 sides are cut knots. And the one side is a nice hem, like it's a nice factory hem. And we want to put that at the bottom. So to weave in your net through your net frame, at one of the corners that has the nice hem on it, okay? And we're going to start weaving it diamond by diamond all around the net frame, but starting by going away from the hem. I want to leave the hem to come all the way around, and then it'll end up at the bottom. So I'm going to start at the corner. We got knots here. And we got a nice hem here. I'm going to start weaving from this corner and take all the knots. Weave your hole through the tubing, the round tubing, and then around the bar. And then through the tubing, around the bar. Through the tubing, around the bar. And do that to every diamond, all the way around, until you get to the corner of the last side. Okay, I'm getting close to my hemmed corner here, and that's where I'm going to stop. So I'm going to weave right to the last corner, last knotted cut knot here, and now it's a nice factory hem. I'm going to grab my net and I'm gonna just pull it all the way around. Okay? And that, I'm gonna try to center it. And then we're gonna take this bar and we're gonna weave it through the nice bottom hem here. We're just gonna weave every diamond through and then put it in that round tubing there. Okay, so it's gonna look something like this. Okay, and then we have a little bend on this frame that goes that way. So that's gonna go towards the front of our feeder. So these two feet here on this net frame, they go into those 9/16 holes that we drilled right at the end of the barrel. Okay, so we're gonna sneak this inside. And we are gonna stick, and we're just gonna hold it up like that. So now we got to put our zip ties in we got 5 of the heavy duty zip ties. Okay, and we're gonna drill 2 holes on each side of the frame, on each side of the bar, and we're gonna put these zip ties from the inside to hold the bars in. So one here, one 14 inches up. And on the net frame, there should be a black mark. If there's not a black mark, just measure 14 inches up, and you'll drill 2 holes in your plastic there, 2 holes in your plastic here, 2 holes in your plastic here. That'll take care of 3 zip ties. And then right at the bottom, we're gonna go like an inch away from the edge. And those are the ones we're gonna do first, actually. We're gonna suck it to the bottom first. Drill 2 holes on each side of that, this round tubing here. 1 inch from the edge and 1 inch from the other edge. Be careful not to get your net caught in your drill. So I'm drilling a hole on both sides of the pipe. Then I'm going to feed my zip tie through. I'm going to hide my zip tie, the big end of the zip tie, I'm going to hide it in the back so the horses, goats, or sheep don't mess with it. And I'm going to pull tight and suck it tight to the bottom of the feeder. Okay, I'm going to do the same to this side now at the bottom. Okay, so we got the 2 bottom ones on. I'll take my side cutters and cut the tail. Okay, now I'm going to do my top hole. So I'm just going to grab my net. I'm going to try to make sure that the play in the net is evenly spaced, so I don't have more on one side than the other. Try to be right in the center if you can. Okay, snug that up. And now we're going to do the sides. Nice and solid. 5 heavy duty zip ties holding it in. And the next move is putting our top on. So we already have our 3 holes drilled with our template that we used. So that'll be step number 8. So in your package, you have this nice spacer, plastic spacer that lifts your lid up. And basically, we just got to figure out how to bolt it to the barrel, and then bolt the lid, screw the lid to this. So you take your middle hole, take a bolt with a washer, because you're on plastic, through your middle hole, and through the hole on your barrel. Each one of these are going to take washers on both sides. Anytime a bolt or a nut is touching plastic, we like to have washers on it. Okay, and then we drilled this one already. We're using our template. So install that one. And we'll be able to do this one as well. because the hole is 1 inch from the bottom of this plastic. And we know we're 3/4 of an inch down. So if we make a mark that's 1 3/4 of an inch, that should tell us where to hold. That mark will be at the bottom, and we should be able to drill our hole, and it'll be the hole will be 3/4 of an inch down from the top of the barrel. Okay, so I drilled through the plastic, and now I'm just gonna hold it right on my line there. And install a bolt with a washer. So same on this side. I'm going to grab my lid, and I'm just going to set it on top of there. It looks like it's going to fit nice, so I'm going to grab my impact and wrench, and I'm going to go around and tighten all my bolts. But we're going to take these lag screws, and there's 2 longer ones in there. I'm going to keep these 2 longer ones to go through this thicker plastic on the side. And so we're going to point them up a little bit, and we're going to try to sneak these legs through the plastic on the lid. And we'll start in the middle and work our way out. Make sure your lid's sitting tight at the bottom. Then we'll use these long screws. Okay, so there you have it. On the top, you want to make sure you put your bungs in if your barrel didn't have bungs, or plug those holes somehow, because the rain will just leak there. We got our barrel built. We're ready to mount it and start using it. So here's our fence that we're going to be mounting it on. You can mount it on wood rails, wood planks. It all kind of works the same. But what you're going to need is you're going to need a 1/4 inch drill. You're going to need your chain binder, and you're going to need your piece of chain. And they'll have a bolt and 2 washers on it already. Okay? So pick the spot you want to mount your barrel. We suggest a little bit higher so the horses tend not to paw at the barrel. So on this one, we're going to mount it like that. And we're going to come by with our wagon or side by side and hay, and we're just going to throw flakes in here or small compressed bales. Okay, so now we're going to mount our chains. So I'm going to start with the chain that doesn't have the chain binder on it. And keep in mind, you want to pull down on the hooks. So on this fence, I'm going to have enough room. I'm going to come around with my chain and grab the binder. So I'm actually going to put my chain in the back behind this rail. Okay? So that when I come around, and you want to make sure you're in the center. Drill your hole. Grab your bolt with a washer on it. and then a nut with a washer on it, and you got to tighten that bolt up. To figure out where we mount our hole, we're going to hook our binder into the chain. We're going to close it, and with our bolt in the chain link, a bolt and a washer, we're going to make a mark on our barrel where to drill the hole. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go 1/2 inch above that mark and drill a hole. And what that'll do is make sure that it snugs it right up, okay? Okay, then you open up your chain binder. Put your bolt and your nut, or your washer, and then put your washer and your nut on the other side. And snug it up. And that's how you mount your do-it-yourself HayBoss Feeder's barrel kit. So when you go to snug it down, it snaps into place, it's good and solid, and the horses can't pull the hooks off of the fence.